All right, so looking at your warm-ups today was very interesting to me because as I glanced back and looked at your yesterday's pictures, lots of you did not have your pictures drawn accurately. When you do work and then we go over it in this class, my expectation is if your picture is not right or your equation doesn't look like mine, you don't have to erase yours, but you do have to add mine to it and maybe circle it. So your picture should, if we've gone over it, it should be an accurate reflection. That way you have something to look back on. That was the problem that some people were having today, was their picture from yesterday didn't match and their equation from yesterday wasn't there, so they weren't quite sure how to do it today. So a lot of us did a fabulous job, but there are some of us that need to check in a little bit more in class. Let's look at today's. I know that we went over it, but let's just talk about it. Make sense of the problem using a picture. A picture in math class is not an artistic rendition of what you think the problem looks like. It's a number line or it's symbols. It should not look like an artistic work. Mathematical pictures are different than drawing an artistic scene. And so the picture did not necessarily mean that I wanted to see a bird and a pine cone. It meant I wanted to see something that maybe a circle that represents a bird or something like that. Okay. A bird was flying through a meadow 15 feet above the ground holding a pine cone in its mouth. The bird accidentally let go of the pine cone and it fell into a hole and landed 15 feet below the ground. How far will the bird have to travel to retrieve the pine cone? Someone raise your hand and if you can tell me how many feet. What was this sentence that you wrote, Aaron? Yes, the bird will have to travel 30 feet to get the pine cone, right? Okay, so let's see what that looks like. I saw that most of you did use a vertical number line, which would be the appropriate number line if we're talking about underground. You have to have 0, and what does 0 represent? The ground level. You don't have to have ground level written. Is it an added bonus and it lets the person that's looking at your picture know that you know what you're talking about? It is. It's not a bad thing to add. All right, so the bird was flying up here at 15 feet. Remember, above 0 is positive. And the pine cone landed where? Negative 15. It should say negative 15. Some of us had 15 feet and 15 feet, and that's not correct. Positive 15 and negative 15. All right, and so a lot of us yesterday left off our jumps. On an open number line, the whole point of an open number line is to show the size of the jumps. And so this jump is 15 feet to get from positive 15 to 0. And then from 0 to negative 15 is what? Another 15 feet. And we said that we know that distance is always what? Positive, right? And this is how far you're traveling. That's a distance. So 15 plus 15 equals the 30 feet. Lots of us got the right answer here, and then we had the wrong equation, and we got the answer of 0. So if your picture helps you make sense of it, start with the picture, get your answer, and then that might help you with the equation. Now, we said yesterday that a difference problem, what's the difference between positive 15 and negative 15? Well, difference is a subtraction problem. So we have 15 minus negative 15. This is a subtraction problem. What's the difference between positive 15 and negative 15? A difference means to subtract. Well, positive 15 minus negative 15 becomes 15 plus 15, and that is 30 feet. And then you must have a sentence with capital letters and punctuation. The bird will have to travel 30 feet to retrieve or get the pine cone. All right. So make sure you have a number line. The number line has 0 shown, a positive 15, negative 15. Make sure that you're showing your jumps. Make sure that you have how you got the answer up there, which is 15 plus 15 is 30. You must absolutely, positively, 100%, you must have this statement right there. If you do not have that, you need to add that right now. That's the whole point of this lesson, is that we can see this difference problem is 15 minus negative 15, and then that becomes 15 plus 15. That's the whole point. You absolutely must have that mathematical sentence on your paper. So in just a few minutes, we're going to put this in our journal. I'm going to let you know that frequently in this room, I let you use your math notebook or your math journal on quizzes and tests. So what I'm telling you is it's essential that you have things correct in your notebook, because if I let you use it and you don't have the right things in there, it does you absolutely no good. Yes, Ross. Yes, we'll, Miss Spence coming to help you. Anybody else need holes punched? All right, we're going to put this in just a minute, but we're going to do it all at once. So just put it to the side for now. I want to look at your schedule for the week, and then we're going to get into today's lesson. All those papers you got this morning should still be sitting on your desk. We're going through all of those, and we're going to tell you what to do with them today. Hang on just a minute. So you should have this out on your desk right now. So we just went over the bird problem. We are going to take notes on subtracting integers, and we're going to work on that skills practice together today. Tomorrow, you will have a homework practice sheet. Look at this paper right here. This is homework practice. Get that right now. Should be on your desk. Homework practice. It says subtract integers. Put your name up there. Put tomorrow's date, 9/23. This is your Wednesday assignment. I've noticed lots of people are not spelling Wednesday correctly. It's Wednesday. 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 It's written on the board in front of you. You're 7th grade. Now's the time. Wednesday. All right, so your name, Wednesday, should be right there. So tomorrow when you're at home, this is your assignment. You will be able to use today's assignment, skills practice, to help you with that tomorrow. So if you're struggling on this, go back to this page from today. They go together. Do you see how they look alike? Yes? Okay, so let's take this homework practice. Oh, hang on. Let's go over the back, and then we'll put it up. Turn it over in the back. Thursday, you're going to have IXL C8 and C9 to do on subtracting integers. Work on each section to a 100 or for 20 minutes per section. That's 40 minutes. Math class, if you were in school, lasts 70 minutes. So a 40-minute assignment is okay. You can do it. I have confidence in you. So C8 and C9, screenshot it and turn it in on Thursday. Friday, you're going to have an integers Google Slides activity. Let's look at that. It's not like the last one. It's pretty easy. Although most of you did a really good job on that one. I'm still grading them, but what I've seen was good so far. So it's going to look like this. You will need to use scratch paper to complete the assignment, but there are text boxes for you to just type your answer right in on the screen. Okay, so let me... So you can just zoom in. You can... The answer to that would be negative 29, and you just type your answer, then you just move on. All right. Everybody going to be okay with that? That day is Friday, so you'll just complete it and turn it in on Friday right there in Google Classroom. Questions? Okay. So, let me switch back screens. Okay. So, that's your Friday assignment. Google Slides activity, and you submit it in Google Classroom. Any questions? Okay, so take these and put them in the front pocket of your math folder. We're not going to put up our warm-up yet. We're going to do that all at once in just a minute when we put our notes in our folder. All right, put that to the side. Let's look at this notes page. All right, subtracting integers is the same thing as you may hear it called add the opposite. Subtracting integers is the same as adding the opposite. We looked at that yesterday. So step one, you're going to keep the first number. The word that goes in this blank is same, S-A-M-E. Step one, keep the first number the same. Christian, we just wrote the word same, S-A-M-E on the line. Step two, change the subtraction sign. Let's just call it subtract. Change the subtract sign to an addition sign. Subtract, S-U-B-T-R-A-C-T. Subtraction sign to an addition sign. Change the second digit to its opposite. And then we are going to follow the addition rule. So we'll just write add. Follow the add rule, the addition rule. Okay, so here's an example. 3 minus 7. That becomes 3 plus negative 7. Then we follow the rules, a positive and a negative. That means we subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. That one has the greater absolute value, so our answer is negative 4. Here's another example. Negative 5 minus negative 9. No, not negative 5. Negative 56 minus negative 9 becomes negative 56 plus positive 9. The signs are different, so we subtract. And our answer is negative 47. So if you are subtracting more than two integers, you move left to right. Left to right. Adding the opposite. Solve using the addition rules for integers. So if this problem is negative 5 minus 17 minus 23, we're going to work left to right. Keep the negative 5, negative 5. Change the subtract to add. Change the, let's see. Should that not be? I feel like that should be a negative 17 right there. Because if we change that to positive, that should be a negative. And then we change that to a positive. So now that becomes a negative. So that needs to be a negative 17. Someone didn't know their math, so cross these lines out. So then it's negative 5 plus negative 17 is, what's that, negative 22, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we're at negative 22. So it becomes negative 22 plus negative 23. And then you can line it up like this. 22 plus 23 is 45. Negative 45 is your answer. So if you get home and you're struggling, you can use your flow chart right there for subtracting. We can use this flow chart that we looked at yesterday that's in your math notebook. So let's try some of these. 9 minus 11. So that becomes, you have to rewrite it, 9 plus negative 11. Rewrite it. 9 plus negative 11. We kept the first sign. We changed the subtract to add. And you change that positive 11 to a negative 11. Now it's an addition problem. We follow our addition rules, right? So we go up, we follow the addition rules. The signs are different, so we're going to subtract. 11 minus 9 is what? 2. And is it going to be a positive 2 or a negative 2? Negative 2. All right, let's look at the second problem. 28 minus negative 15. Keep the first integer. Change the subtract to add. And change the negative 15 to a positive 15. And then you may have to add using your standard adding algorithm, 28 plus 15. 13. 1, 3, 43. Positive 43. Everybody good with that? All right. Number 3. So there's more than 2 digits, so we're going to work left to right. We're going to keep the first number, negative 8. Change the subtract to add. Change the negative to a positive. Change the subtract to add. And change this positive 31 to a negative 31. So you can work left to right if you want. Negative 8 plus 12 is negative 8 plus 12. Are you sure? It's positive 4, right? The signs are different, so we subtract. We get positive 4. So positive 4 plus negative 31. Negative 27. So we said 31 minus 4, and we got 27. And 31 has the greatest absolute value, and it's negative, so our answer is negative 27. All right, everybody good so far? All right, number 4. Keep the negative 6 a negative 6. change the subtract to add. This is where you have to be careful. You have to look at that 5. Is that a positive 5 or a negative 5? It's positive, so we have to change it to a negative 5. Change that subtract to add. And that negative 7 becomes a positive 7. And then work left to right. Negative 6 plus negative 5 is negative 11. Negative 11 plus positive 7, negative 4. Questions? Okay, let's try these practice problems over here. 46 minus 87. So rewrite it. Keep 46. Change the subtract to add. And change that positive 87 to a negative 87. The signs are different, so what do? Subtract their absolute values. I'm going to do that right over here. 87 minus 46. And what do we get? 41. And is it going to be positive or negative? Negative 41. All right, let's try the next one. Negative 6. Change that subtract to add. And change that negative 14 to a positive 14. Then that becomes 14 minus 6. And what do we get? 8. Positive or negative? Positive 8. Oh, these are super fun. All right. Negative 50 minus 6. Negative 50 minus 6, that becomes negative 50 plus negative 6. The signs are the same, so we add, and the answer is negative 56. Oh, y'all are good. I'm impressed. All right, try the next one. Change it on your own. See what you can do. What does that problem change to? Amber? Plus negative 11 or plus 11? It's 26 plus 11, right? That becomes plus, that becomes positive, 26 plus 11, and our answer is 37. Very nice. All right, let's rewrite the next one. First number stays the same, negative 47. Subtract becomes add, positive 20 becomes negative 20. Subtract becomes add, positive, or negative becomes positive. Ooh, that looks interesting. So negative 47 plus negative 20 is, Xavier? Negative 67 plus 67. 0. Very nice. All right, last one. And then we'll do that word problem. Negative 93. Subtract becomes add. Negative 17 becomes positive 17. Subtract becomes add. And negative 53 becomes positive 53. So we can work left to right, or we could do these addings first and then subtract. What do you guys want to do? If you want to add first, you can. You can add 17 plus 53, and what is that? 70? 17 plus 53. If we start there, I could say 17 plus 53 is 70. And then I could do 93 minus 70, right? And you get 23. Is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative. The 93 is bigger than the 70, so it would be negative. Let's see what that looks like the other way. If I did 93 minus 17, I could borrow. 13 minus 7 is... What's 13 minus 7? 8 minus 1 is 76. And so then that's negative. So then I could do negative 76. Or I would do 76 minus 53. And I get a 23. And then the 76, and so it would be negative 23. So you could do it either way. I think this way was easier, to add the two positives together and get 70. And then do 93 minus 70 and get 23. Or you could have done the subtraction first. Everybody okay with that? All right, let's look at the last one. Sadie and Jack took part in a gaming competition. Jack's final score was 460 points. Sadie's final score was 550 points less than Jack's. What was Sadie's final score? Jack's final score was 460. Sadie's final score was 550 less than Jack's. So this was Jack's. Sadie's was 550 less than Jack's. So keep, change, and then change that to... And now what do? Do we add or subtract? Subtract 550 minus 460. 0. I need to borrow 1590. Is it positive or negative 90? Negative, because it was less than, right? So Sadie's final score was her final score 90, or was it negative 90? Can she get a negative 90? She's just really bad. Okay. I guess it would have to be a negative 90, wouldn't it, if it was 550 less than his. So her final score was negative 90. And I guess that she needs to practice is what I'm taking away from that problem. Remember, word problems have to have words in the answer. All right, so we're going to put this in our journal along with our warm-up. So I would say the warm-up may be in the front of it, and then that behind it. And just open this up. We want it put in the prongs. So then if you were at home and trying to use this, you could look at it just like that, right? It's in the prongs. You could just turn your notebook and it could just sit just like that. And then you should also have your warm-up in there too, so that you can look back at that if you need to. Anybody need help getting their journal together? Everybody's good? Okay, let's look at that skills practice. This is what we're going to work on in class now. If you are yes, you don't have that yet? Okay. Well, that might be a problem. Put your name on the top. If you need some scratch paper, you can use scratch paper. You never have to ask in math class if you can use scratch paper. But you do, if you work on scratch paper, you're going to need to turn in scratch paper. All right. Okay. So, a problem like number 1 on this skills practice. Do I need to rewrite that problem? 5 minus 2? No, don't you know how to solve 5 minus 2? What is 5 minus 2? 3. I do not expect you to rewrite that problem. If you can solve it without rewriting it to 5 plus negative 2, then solve it. You do not have to rewrite that. We're not going to be rule followers on a problem like that. Okay, problem 2. You do need to rewrite that one. 6 minus negative 7 becomes what? Raise your hand if you can tell me how to rewrite that problem. Ross? 6 plus 7. And 6 plus 7 is 13. Three minus 2. Now, I don't always have to rewrite a problem like that. If you think about that on the number line, 3 minus 2, let's all look up here at the number line and see what that means. You're at 3, you're at negative 3, and you're taking 2 away. Where do you end up if you're going 2 in the negative? Negative 4, then negative 5. You don't have to rewrite that if you can do that one. That's negative 5. If that didn't make sense to you, then rewrite it as negative 3 plus negative 2. And we see that negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. All right, let's rewrite 4. 8 minus 13 becomes 8 plus negative 13. Those are opposites, so we need to subtract. 13 minus 8 is negative 5. Everybody okay with that? They're kind of fun. Do you see how they just build on the adding integers that we did? Let's look at, I think you can do the rest of those. Okay, let's go down to 19. Evaluate each expression if r equals negative 4, s equals 10, t equals negative 7. All right, so we've got some variables here. We're going to have to use substitution. R minus 7. And what does it tell us that R is? Negative 4. You must rewrite that. Negative 4 minus 7. You have to rewrite it showing the substitution. And then that becomes negative 4 plus negative 7. And negative 4 plus negative 7 is negative 11. Let's look at 20. T minus S. T is negative 7. Now, be careful, move that minus over. Now, what is S? S is 10. So it becomes negative 7 plus negative 10. And that is negative 17. S minus negative 8. S is, what number is S? 10. 10 minus negative 8. Rewrite that. What does it become? 10 plus 8. And 10 plus 8 is 18. Try rewriting number 22, t minus r. Be careful when you rewrite it. T minus r. How do we rewrite that? Somebody that I haven't heard from yet today. How did I rewrite that? Should have been negative 7 minus negative 4. Lots of people forget you have the minus there, and then the r is a negative 4. So how do we rewrite that? It becomes negative 7 plus 4. And what is the answer? Negative 3. Does anybody have any questions on this section so far? Okay. S minus t. What is S? 10 minus, and what is t? Negative 7. And that becomes 10 plus 7. And your answer is 17. R minus S. R is negative 4 minus 10. That becomes negative 4 plus negative 10. And your answer is negative 14. Oh, those were so much fun. Right? Right, right, yes. Those were amazing. All right, let's look at a couple of the word problems on the back, and then we'll let you try some of these on the front. So remember in your notebook, if you have word problems to solve, you've got some words in your notebook to help you with those. Let's look at number 1. A team gained 5 yards on their first play, then they lost 6 yards. Find the total change in yardage. So we're writing subtraction problems on this one. Yes? Okay. I think you might have got the originals. Here, he can have this back. Okay? All right. So they gained 5, so that's a positive. And then they lost 6. That is a negative. So we're writing them as subtraction problems. When we were writing them as addition problems, what would that have looked like? It would have been 5, and then we went negative 6, right? So in the last section, we would have written it like that. Here, we're writing it as a subtraction. Are those the same problems? Who said no? Aren't they the same? The 5 is the same. We would change that to plus, and we would change that positive to a negative. They're really the same problems. We would have written that when we were doing addition. They gained 5, and then they lost 6. They gained 5, and then they lost 6. These are the exact same problems. What's our answer? What's the total change in yardage? Negative 1. What does that mean? They lost 1 yard. It means they lost 1 yard after the 2 plays. Checking. Your checking account is overdrawn by $50. Is overdrawn a positive or a negative? It's a negative. Overdrawn is a problem. That means you've spent more money than you had in the bank and you now owe the bank $50. They're going to be mad. I'm just going to tell you, they're going to be mad. They're going to charge you probably like another $35 when you do that. So then you're like overdrawn $85. And I mean, it's just a hot mess. Overdrawn's a problem. So that's negative 50. You then write a check for $20. Does that mean you're spending $20 or you're getting $20? You're spending another 20. Like you already are negative 50. So you have negative 50 for being overdrawn, and then you write a check for $20. This means that you need to get a JOB and do some work. Put some money in your account. So it's $50 or negative $50 plus negative $20. So what's the answer to that? Negative 70. Woo! What's the balance in your account? The balance is negative $70. That's how you write that, negative $70. All right, 3. The average temperature in Calgary, Canada is 22 degrees Celsius in July and negative 11 degrees Celsius in January. Find the range of the highest and lowest temperatures. Do you remember how to find the range from last year? The range is the highest minus the lowest. So 22 minus negative 11. Rewrite that as addition, and that becomes what? 22 plus 11, and that equals 33. The range is 33 degrees Celsius. Use units, capital letters, punctuation. The range is 33 degrees Celsius. A roller coaster begins at 90 feet above ground level. Then it descends 105 feet. Find the height of the coaster after the first descent. So 90 feet above ground, is that positive or negative? Positive. Then it descends. That's a negative or a minus 105 feet. Or we can write that as 90 plus negative 105. So do we add or subtract when the signs are different? You subtract. What's 105 minus 90? Well, 90 to 100 is 10. And then from 100 to 105 is another 5. So it's 15. Right? So negative 15. So find the height of the coaster after its first descent. So the height is negative 15. What's the unit that we're working with? Feet. Sonia has $235 in her savings account. She withdraws $45. What is left in her savings account? So, 235, is that a positive or a negative? It's a positive. If she has it there, that's money that she has. She withdraws. That's taking money out, so that's subtracting $45. Do I have to rewrite that, or do I know how to solve 235 minus 45? You can solve that, right? So I might have to line it up like your standard algorithm there. 0, 1, borrow, 13 minus 4 is 190. Is that a positive or a negative? Well, if she had 235 and she only took out 45, that's still a positive number, right? She has $190 left in her account. Y and Curry were digging in the sand at the beach. Y dug a hole that was 15 inches below the surface. Curry dug a hole that was 9 inches below the surface. Find the difference in their depths of their holes. All right. So, 15 inches below the surface, is that a positive or a negative? And we need the difference. And then 9 inches below the surface is, so that becomes negative 15 plus 9. And negative 15 plus 9 is? Negative 6. Find the difference. Now, we're talking about distance. So when we write the sentence, are we going to say they're negative 6 or they're 6? Then we're going to say they're 6 because we're talking about distance. So they are 6 inches apart. Or you could say difference. All right, everybody good with the word problems? I really think it's helpful for us to have done the word problems together, because isn't that what's usually the hardest in math, is the word problems, figuring out what they say. If it was me, I think the word problems are usually the hardest, yes. And then figuring out how to write the answer. If it was me, I would not throw this away. I would keep this, and we can even hole punch it if you would like. Before you can get out the door, you must solve